So speak like you love yourself, think like you love yourself, eat like you love yourself, and care for your natural hair like you love yourself. Greetings, good people. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all have been doing well out there in these natural hair streets. And if not, I have some information in this video that I know will help you all be able to improve your natural hair journey. So let's get into it. I recently come across a few videos where people are specifically calling out specific products that they believe have contributed to their hair falling out or taking out the hair. And a lot of us out here don't know that, but yeah, styling products, shampoos, things can contribute to taking out our hair because of the ingredients. And this can be a gradual process or it can happen immediately. It really just depends on multiple factors. The product formulation, of course, is one, but then also how often are you exposing yourself to this particular product? What other potential chemicals that are going on in your body system that are interacting with a lot of these chemicals that are in the product formulation, that things that have not even been studied? You know, similar to how a patient will go into the hospital and be prescribed one set of medication for one thing, and then they get prescribed medication for something else, and then those two medications interact, and sometimes people actually die. That type of thing. But in the cosmetic industry, those interactions aren't even studied. So we have a system that allows for chemicals that are known to bring health issues to people that are topically applied, interacting with any other numbers of chemicals and causing reactions that they never even planned for. So, but yes, hair products can make your hair thin. Hair products can take your hair out. Hair products can cause skin issues and even type of alopecia, and we're going to get into exactly why that is. So I want to highlight a few, or maybe a handful of ingredients that are known to have adverse actions that are included in a lot of hair products, that are commonly included in hair products. I want to highlight some of those, and then we can kind of get into the overall reason why they contribute to taking out our hair. So these are a few of the clips that I've come across with people sharing their stories and what happened to their scalp and hair when using a particular brand. The name of the brand is located right there in the title. And this particular stylist I appreciate so much because he uses a lot of his platform to assist naturals with, you know, keeping their hair in the best condition and resolving issues that are happening with their hair. So thank you, Narada, also known as African Hair God. But I appreciate these creators for having the courage to come forward and speak out against these brands, especially knowing that it could potentially harm their ability to get sponsorships and partnerships with other brands down the line. But it's just not worth it to keep that type of stuff to yourself, knowing the harms that these things can cause. So this particular video, Jen and I went on ahead and did a deep dive into the issues behind the 30-day detox method that were recommended by a couple of professional stylists, in which a lot of naturals were coming out and speaking about damage that they were having on their hair. And so we did a deep dive into the ingredients and just the flaws of the method, period. And the short end of it is that a lot of the ingredients in the products were very drying and damaging to the hair, scalp, and body system. And removing the oils and the butters out of the regimen should just never, ever happen. So those two things combined equal massive damage very, very quickly. And as you can see, these type of issues are not limited to any particular brand, which is why we have to become very knowledgeable consumers about ingredients. So no matter what brand we choose, we know what to avoid. All right, guys. So the first ingredient that I'm going to get into, I know a lot of you guys are going to be a little bummed out about, and that's okay. But I need y'all to know, the serious dangers of repeated exposure to this particular ingredient. And you're going to find it everywhere, not only in your natural hair products, but also in your body care products, your household cleaning products, laundry detergent. Like, it is literally everywhere. And I'm going to be reading some things from my ebook about these particular ingredients, just, to not have to tax my brain so much, right? So the first particular ingredient is fragrance or perfume. And the National Academy of Science points out some vital facts. About 95% of chemicals used in synthetic fragrances are derived from petroleum, aka crude oil. They include benzene derivatives, which are carcinogenic, aldehydes, toluene, and many other known toxic chemicals linked to cancer, birth defects, central nervous system disorders, and allergic reactions. Many are known or suspected endocrine disruptors, which are compounds that tinker with hormonal health and can trigger weight gain and even set you up for diseases decades down the line. Fragrance or perfume is known to contain at least 3,000 unique chemicals. So even product makers that are using phthalate-free fragrance are not actually avoiding the plethora of health harmful chemicals that synthetic fragrance contains. The common known toxic inclusions are listed below. So that is just a little excerpt from my ebook, because I want to make sure that we all are using the most hair and body system healthy products that are available to us on the market. But synthetic fragrance, you're going to run into it everywhere, and it's just one of those that you really, really, really should avoid. Now, there are categories of toxicity, or basically areas of the body that these particular ingredients affect. And so I'm going to drill down a little bit into each one. So for allergies and immunotoxicity, strong evidence of human immune toxicant or allergen. So that means there's strong evidence that it's toxic to the immune system. Miscellaneous. Well, the concern with miscellaneous concern is that all the components are not completely known in these synthetic fragrances. Like the first paragraph states, it's over 3,000 unique chemicals in synthetic fragrance. And so we really, really, really have to be careful when we run into this particular ingredient. Cancer, strong evidence of cancer. And there are several individual chemicals that are known to be included in synthetic fragrance that have direct connections to cancer. So some of them are phthalates, styrene, acetaldehyde, benzophenone, butylated hydroxyanisole, or otherwise known as BHA. What is this? Dichloromethane, or also methylene chloride, formaldehyde, which could show up as MEA, DEA, or TEA, propylparaben, and titanium dioxide and dioxane. All of these chemicals are individually found amongst that 3,000 unique chemicals in synthetic fragrance, and every single one of those is a known carcinogen. So y'all, be careful out here. And it also, any product that says it's a natural product and have synthetic ingredients in it is a lie. Synthetics are not natural. Natural actually has a technical definition that has been skewed for use by the FDA, but synthetic ingredients are not natural. So all of our natural products that even contain this ingredient don't technically qualify as natural. So that's just marketing. So let's move on. Still on synthetic fragrance, endocrine disruption. Now this one is a biggie, and you're going to hear this probably amongst all the ingredients that I'm going to share. But endocrine disruption, one or more studies show significant disruption. Known inclusions for endocrine disruption are that benzophenone again, diethylphthalate, DEP, synthetic musks, and then they just break down the names of the synthetic musks: tonalide, galaxoxide, musketone, and muskxylene. Okay, now a lot of us don't know what endocrine disruption is, and I think I covered it a little bit in that initial paragraph, but let's revisit it. Basically, the short end of it is endocrine disruptors throw off how your body synthesizes and distributes the hormones to the entire body system. The endocrine system is in charge of hormone distribution for the entire body. So when your hormones are out of whack, everything is out of whack. And eventually, with repeated exposure, it just makes the symptoms of your body being out of whack even more pronounced and bothersome. You know, hair loss, fibroids, all types of different things can happen just because your hormones are imbalanced. So endocrine disruptors are not something to just not take seriously, and they're going to come up a lot. So moving on, we're still within synthetic fragrance. Organ system toxicity, and this is non-reproductive, it says. So possible human respiratory toxicant. And then I'll skip the known inclusion chemicals that are associated with organ system toxicity, but there is cause for concern there. Developmental and reproductive toxicity. One or more animal studies show effects at moderate doses. Irritation of the skin, eyes, or lungs. Moderate evidence of human respiratory irritation. And then ecotoxicology, which is just, is it toxic to the environment? Ecotoxicology. Yes, wildlife and environmental toxicity as well. So synthetic fragrance, y'all. I know it smells good, but knowing all of this, and of course you can get a little bit more in-depth information in the ebook, is it really, really worth it to continue to expose yourself to something so harmful just to style your hair or rub on a body lotion or, you know, burn a candle? Like, there are things that are synthetic fragrance free and just fragrance free, period. So if you're not one who's into essential oils, who don't have these concerns, by the way. So that's synthetic fragrance. Let's move on to the next ingredient. So next up we have cocamidopropylbentane and cocamidippa. So this one you're going to see in shampoos a lot. And it's one of those things where companies caught on that a lot of us became aware that SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, and sodium laureth sulfate were drying out our hair and our scalps and causing hair fall. So they moved on to something else that most of us will not be familiar with. But these things are in most shampoos in place of the SLS. So let's get into it. Cocamidopropylbentane and cocamidippa is a surfactant, and it is used as a foam booster, emulsifying agent, thickener, anti-static, and antiseptic agent. Cocamidopropylbentane is made by mixing refined coconut oil with 3-dimethylamine propylamine and belongs to a class of fatty acid aminopropyl dimethylamines. Tongue twisters, y'all. Cocamidippa is made by mixing refined coconut oil with diisopropanolamine. Okay, so the issue with this ingredient, not only because it's very drying to the hair and the scalp, but the number one comes up is contamination concerns, and then they list the very specific compounds that they're concerned that are left behind in this surfactant as a result of refining and making it, right? So the contamination concerns are all different types of amines. And an amine is a derivative of ammonia, in which one, two, or all three hydrogen atoms are replaced by a hydrocarbon group. All amines are highly sensitizing to the skin, eyes, and respiratory irritants. They are toxic and easily converted to nitrosamines under certain conditions. And a nitrosamine, I'm going to spare y'all all of the details because you can definitely get it in the ebook, but the short end of it is nitrosamines are known carcinogens. Okay, so you are repeatedly exposing yourself to known carcinogens just to wash your hair when you are using shampoos with this type of ingredient. Not to mention, well, with these ingredients, not to mention they're drying to the hair and they're drying to the scalp. Even though they are, using coconut oil, they're still very, very, very drying. What else do I want to say about this? Oh, and of course, it is suspected to be an environmental toxin. So, ingredients you should definitely want to avoid. Are you ready to begin your holistic hair and health journey? Well, I have some offerings that are created to help you along your path. Starting with my ebook, it is written for naturals in every stage of their journey, as well as stylists who want to learn natural hair best care practices, top tier product recommendations for hair types 2, 3, and 4, as well as ingredients to avoid when you're shopping for hair products to make sure that you're keeping your hair and your health in the best possible condition. Inside, you're going to learn how to care for loose natural hair, lock natural hair, and even for my naturals who prefer to straighten their hair. Now, my consultations are for people who want one-on-one guidance or have specialized issues. The hair healing consultation, if you have hair loss, scalp issues, or color concerns, that's for you. The holistic health consultation for those of us who want to prevent or reverse disease, transition to a plant-based diet, and more. Check that out. The fibroid healing guide is actually a free offering to the community, so make sure you go ahead and download that one for free. You'll find the code for free access in that product description. Now, all my other offerings are all natural, organic, aromatherapy, crystal therapy, powered products, and those are also an essential element of a holistic hair and health journey. So make sure you check those out. I'd love to collaborate with any of you who'd like to help me spread the message of holistic hair and healthcare to the larger natural community. So please get in touch. Now back to the video. All right, next up we have benhydramonium chloride. So this one you're going to find in a lot of like creamy things. So think like your hair styling creams, your conditioners, primarily. Those are where you're going to find these a lot. Even some body lotions, you're going to find these a lot. And benhydramonium chloride is a water insoluble wax. It is used as an anti-static hair conditioning emulsifying agent derived from canola oil via steam and heat processes. Then it is made by quaternizing benhenyl dimethylamine with methyl chloride and 30% dipropylene glycol according to studies. Like, these are all various different synthetic products. Quaternary ammonium compounds, which is QACs, which all chlorides fall under, just keep that there, can cause fatal outcomes in both humans and animals with overexposure. So, in the category of allergies and immunotoxicity for benhydramonium chloride, strong evidence of human toxicant or allergen. Organ system toxicity, non-reproductive, is a possible human toxicant. Irritation of the skin, eyes, or lungs. The weight in this particular category, the evidence is not known. They haven't assessed it for that. Developmental and reproductive toxicity. One or more animal studies show effects at moderate doses. it affects your reproductive system. Okay, neurotoxicity. One or more in vitro tests on mammalian cells demonstrate neurotoxicity. Let's see. What exactly is neurotoxicity, guys? Some nasty business. But simply put, it happens when exposure to toxic substances affect the normal activity of your nervous system. That's the very, very, very concise definition of neurotoxicity. Negative impacts on your nervous system. Endocrine disruption. This one is also associated with endocrine disruption, which again regulates how your hormones are dispersed and function in the body. Let's see. Ecotoxicity. This one is suspected to be an environmental toxin, and it's not suspected to be persistent or bioaccumulative. Like it's not suspected to build up in the cells, and but I don't particularly agree with that. Just on the other 2 points alone, endocrine disruption and neurotoxicity, developmental reproductive toxicity. Like, this is really, really, really nasty business, y'all. And so you could go by the adage, well, with proper formulation and reduced exposure, you'll be fine. But why do you really want to play that game with your health? Like, I particularly don't. Like, the best products, the most top tier natural products don't have any of these things in there because they're truly natural products. So let's move on to another ingredient I want to make sure that you all are aware of that can, definitely contribute to taking out the hair. It is diazolidinolurea, or DMDM-hydatonin. Those are the common names, and it is an antimicrobial preservative that works by forming formaldehyde in cosmetic products. People exposed to such formaldehyde releasing ingredients may develop a formaldehyde allergy or an allergy to the ingredient itself. In the United States, approximately 20% of cosmetics and personal care products contain formaldehyde releasers, and the frequency of contact allergy to these ingredients is much higher among Americans compared to studies in Europe. And the reason for that is, like, Europe has more stringent ingredient requirements for not only their personal care products but also food. So a lot of the harmful toxic ingredients that are allowed here in the US are not allowed in Europe and other countries for that matter. So contamination concerns top of the list when it comes to this DMDM-hydatonin or dialylurea. Formaldehyde. Let's get into formaldehyde a little bit. Come on now. What does it say? What does it say about formaldehyde? Well, formaldehyde definitely enhances the absorption of other ingredients. Ooh, this is so formaldehyde is a carcinogenic. Get out here. Something popping up on my screen, guys. Give me a sec. Can you get it out of here? No, I don't want to. Okay, let's see. So formaldehyde is a carcinogenic impurity released by a number of cosmetic preservatives, including the diazolidinolurea, other forms of urea, DMDM-hydatonin, and all these other names for it. According to reviews by the industry-funded Cosmetic Ingredient Review Panel, these cosmetic ingredients can release formaldehyde at levels as high as 1/10 of that of the original ingredient. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just want y'all to understand that it is carcinogenic, and it is in a lot of our hair products, and it can definitely contribute to causing the scalp to release hair. And like I said, we'll get into the overall reason why once I get done with these ingredients. But yeah, formaldehyde is a concern of DMDM-hydotonin. And that urea. What else is it? There's strong evidence of human immune and respiratory toxicants or allergies. There's evidence of skin irritation, of course. Known human carcinogen. It is suspected to be an environmental toxin. When organ system toxicity, non-reproductive, it is classified as toxic or harmful. One or more animal studies have showed classified as toxic effects at low doses. And so it's really, really bad stuff, guys. And I am aware that there's lots of brands that contain this particular ingredient that have been coming under fire, lawsuits left and right behind it, because these companies know. They know how harmful these things are, and they put them in there anyway because they know that you don't. And you're not going to suspect a hair product being the reason why you're losing hair, or you're having problems with your nervous system, or you're developing skin conditions, or you're having reproductive challenges. Like, who's going to suspect their hair products of that? Most people would not.
Of how many corporations take advantage of the consumers without them realizing it's taking place. Over the last few years, many class action lawsuits have been filed against the makers of shampoo and hair products containing DMDM-hydantin and sodium lauryl sulfate. DMDM-hydantin works by releasing small amounts of formaldehyde, causing harmful side effects, such as hair loss and scalp irritation. And SLS is an ingredient used in shampoos to trap dirt, which also causes skin to become irritated.
Last ingredient I'm going to cover in this particular video is one that we should all be pretty familiar with. It's also found in a lot of shampoos, body washes too, actually. And it's this sodium laureth or sodium lauryl sulfate and ammonium laureth and lauryl sulfate. Play on words. So these particular ingredients, foaming agent, surfactant, they trapping oil and dirt in the hair so that it can rinse away with water made by reacting lauryl alcohol from a petroleum or plant source, but majority of these things are made with petroleum. They're made synthetically, with sulfur trioxide to produce hydrogen lauryl sulfate, which is then neutralized with sodium carbonate to produce SLS. So top concern with these particular types of sulfates are contamination of ethylene oxide, which is used in making the chemical and is associated with lymphoma, leukemia, stomach and breast cancers, and 1,4-dioxane, which is a trace contaminant used in cosmetics as a solvent. And it harms the eyes, skin, lungs, liver, and kidneys. It may also cause cancer. So that's the top concern with the sodium lauryl and laureth sulfate and ammonium lauryl and lauryl sulfate is these other chemicals that are known carcinogens. Moving on to the next concern, which is irritation of the skin, eyes, or lungs. There's definitely strong evidence of it being irritant to all three. And then organ system toxicity, which non-reproductive is specified here. It is classified as expected to be toxic or harmful. So those are the ingredients I'm going to cover in this particular video. And now let's talk about why these ingredients, the overall reason why they contribute to thinning hair, or what some people like to call hair fall, certain types of alopecia, the CCCA, which, a lot of derms will claim, rightfully so, not to know the cause of, and it's because it's not a part of their education or training. But the overall reason why these products are taking out our hair, causing our hair to thin, is because they are simply disrupting the way that our body normally functions. They're disrupting your hormones. They're disrupting your nervous system. And on top of that, some of them are even actually drying out the scalp and hair. But when your body is not in balance, it show symptoms by physical symptoms, by creating disease, releasing hair, developing rashes, hives, things that enter the body system that are toxic to us. It's going to show symptoms, and losing hair at the scalp, certain types of alopecia is definitely one of them. Certain ingredients, because they are drying to the scalp and hair, are definitely going to cause thinning, right? They're just going to but usually in that thinning through the breakage, but also thinning through speeding up the frequency at which your hair sheds. So when you notice your shedding is increasing, that is a sign. Sometimes it's just the hormones trying to balance themselves back out, especially if you have recently had a baby or whatnot. But a lot of times it's induced by this onslaught of chemicals that are toxic chemicals that are in these products that are calling themselves natural, and they just are not natural. So that's only 5 ingredients. There are so many more that we need to be concerned about and that we need to be avoiding. And I'm going to definitely make sure that you have some access to resources that can help you effectively do that. But I wanted to come and highlight some of the most frequently found ones and just affirm for y'all that, yeah, these people are not crazy. These products can definitely take your hair out and disrupt your entire body system because of the harmful chemical inclusions in them, and that it is best to just scrap them all and move to something that is completely natural, that is completely holistic, that will only improve the condition of not only your hair and your scalp, but also your body system by reducing the amount of toxic chemicals that you're exposing yourself to. So I hope that you found this video informative. I hope that it's encouraged you to move more toward a holistic hair care regimen, and even maybe give you some thought to the more holistic practices in your everyday life, the foods you eat, the products you put on your body, the things you clean your house with, all that good stuff. But I'm gonna cut it off here, and I will see y'all on the next one.